there seems to be this consensus that hormonal birth control, especially the pill, is this empowering sexual liberator of women. It equalizes the genders when it comes to reproduction, right? And it's on the front lines fighting the evils of ovulation and pregnancy and inconvenience, responsibility. Why is it that the states with the most access to birth control are the same states that have the most abortion? What I'm trying to say is, how does submitting yourself to a hormonal power that exists outside of your body and that severs you from your most primal and natural identity be liberating? Birth control. Let's dismantle this term for a second. You're taking a pill that a doctor prescribed you so they can make money off of you, that a guy invented so he could make money off of you, that does have a small fail rate, and that has very significant potential mental and health risks, such as 2 different types of cancer, the depletion of nutrients, decrease in bone density, depression, suicidal thoughts, extreme mood swings, and a change in your core personality. Wait a second, who's in control here? This structure of reproductive health is not ideal for women. So let's say you're on hormonal birth control, you're on the IUD or the patch or the pill, and then it fails, and then you're dependent on another pill, like the day after pill, and let's say it was too late to take that, and now you're dependent on an abortionist to not butcher you while they kill your baby. And then there's a high chance that you will be emotionally damaged and depressed and or physically damaged as well, and nobody prepares you for that, and society goes on willy-nilly as though that is the norm. Now, I will say that because I am less of a fan of the other 2 options, the day after pill and abortions, some women should be on the pill. Some women lead a lifestyle where it is the ideal form of contraception for them, and I am not going to discourage them from being on that pill. But they should still watch this, because if they are having severe side effects, they might not even know it, and that is a decision they'll have to make if they want to deal with those side effects or if they want to risk pregnancy. Also, another exception is there are women who suffer from severe menstrual issues. Their monthly cycle is insanely screwed up. They suffer from very, very difficult symptoms, things like vomiting for a week, intense pain, and severe bleeding, severe cramping. And I'm not telling those women that, oh my God, you're on the pill, get off the pill, you idiot. Of course not. It is situational. The pill can definitely band-aid those symptoms and help those women live a normal life. I do wonder, though, if there could be an alternative solution for those women. And unfortunately, no one's working on that, and these girls are put on the pill as soon as those symptoms happen without exploring any other options. Anyways, let's continue. Besides the ideological flags, there are also just basic health issues that go along with taking hormonal contraceptives. They are both long-term and short-term. They range from life-threatening to chronic and inconvenient, like cancer, stroke, autoimmune disease, nutritional depletion, bone density loss, gallbladder disease, depression, impaired muscle growth, high blood pressure, candida overgrowth, hair thinning, and bad skin. So why did I take it for 8 years? Well, usually girls are prescribed the pill very early on, right as they hit puberty, and for pretty silly reasons like I have acne, or my cramps, irregular cycle, nothing too severe, and then your doctor just places you on the pill and tells you absolutely nothing about it except that there's a risk of blood clots. That happens to 90% of women who are put on hormonal contraceptives. It's for very basic reasons that don't really justify inviting a chemical hijacker into your body when you're 13, 14, 15. Some girls are put on it at 12. So my doctor didn't tell me any of this. The pill was prescribed totally flippantly, like it is to most women. And there's just a social acceptance that comes with this, and it's kind of insane and unacceptable. I'm stressing that my main issue with this system is girls are not told any negative things except the blood clot risk. And they're still not told. And so much research has been done and so much documentation has been performed to show that for many women, taking this hormonal contraceptive is not worth the health side effects. It's just not. They're also not informed on any alternative methods of birth control, and there are plenty, especially when coupled together, that have higher success rates than being on hormonal contraceptives. So what do we do instead? The more left-leaning side of the political spectrum loves to talk about sexual education. All they teach you is how to put a condom on a banana, and about STIs, and about what kind of sexual preferences you can have. This is not sexual education by any standard. And what actual sexual education looks like is explaining to men how women get pregnant and their role in that, and explaining to women how their cycle actually works, and helping them understand the way their body functions in terms of fertility. We are very clear on all of this. The science has been done. These truths have been revealed, and it's not that difficult to understand or learn. But nobody teaches young girls this. I had to read a book to understand exactly how my cycle works. Most people don't do that. That is a huge, huge problem. The problem is so vast that I know people who finished med school who don't know how a woman's cycle works. Doctors and the majority of the population are under the impression that a woman cannot choose when to get pregnant without the assistance of hormonal contraceptives or other intense contraceptive methods. That's not true. I'm not special. I'm a normal woman. And I know exactly when I conceive, like the day. And then I go to my doctor for my checkups, and they ask me, oh, when was the last day of your, it was the first day of your last periods. That's how they measure stuff. And I'm like, I don't know, but this is the day I conceived. And they don't believe me. Like, they don't believe me until I get my first ultrasound, and the ultrasound ages my baby literally to the day I told them that my baby was conceived. So it's definitely possible. Many committed and married couples plan all of their children, and they do not take any contraceptives, and they do not use any contraceptives. Magical people. Magical, wondrous people. If this shocks you, it's not your fault. We've been misinformed. People have huge misconceptions about their anatomy. And just try to educate yourself, especially if hormonal birth control has hurt you or somebody close to you. I know a lot of males that refuse to date women on hormonal birth control because they're crazy. I can relate. I was on the pill for a long time. I was insane. When I went off the pill, the first week I stopped taking it, my mother told me that she got her daughter back. I also suffered from physical repercussions like weekly migraines. And I am predisposed to those, but the pill made them much more frequent and much more severe. I suffered from a couple other symptoms that are pretty personal. I don't want to get too deep into them. But it was bad. A lot of my friends who've taken the pill suffer from sexual symptoms like, well, anti-sexual symptoms like dryness, a lack of arousal, things like that. I thought that the pill was supposed to liberate you sexually, not make you not want to have sex because it hurts every time you do. So I'll end with this. There are other methods of contraception that don't put you at risk of all of these health side effects. I don't recommend them for people who are having a lot of promiscuous sex because the methods that I follow require, being attentive to your body, your partner being attentive to your body, and, the control of both of your impulses and wills. So this is a recommendation for people who are in long-term committed relationships that are willing to really read the material and really pay attention and do it correctly, because just like all other contraceptive methods, if you do it incorrectly, you will get pregnant. If you don't take the pill properly, you will get pregnant. If your IUD shifts or gets pulled out or is too old, you'll get pregnant. If you miscalculate when you're ovulating, you will get pregnant. So there you go. I'm not telling anybody that anything is 100%, and I again do not recommend not using hormonal contraceptives or like an IUD or condoms if you're having sex with random people. Those are all great methods. Like if you're having sex with random people, I really highly suggest a copper IUD and definitely condoms. And if the copper IUD does not work for you, then the pill could definitely be a positive thing in your life. But for those who are in committed long-term relationships, this method works better than all other contraceptive methods. And it just takes a little trust, a little time, a little effort. So I have a resource that I've had this resource for a long time. And you can read about other women's experiences on hormonal birth control. You can read about a slew of other contraceptive methods and see if any of them may work for you. There's a lot of educational information on how your body works, and obviously all the health risks that I emphasize are linked to peer-reviewed studies. So yeah, check that out. It is goingoffthepill.org, linked below. And I wish, I'm really like, I don't have an agenda here. I just have an accumulation of personal and personal experiences and the experiences of people close to me that I draw from, and a lot of statistical evidence that this stuff is harming people, and maybe it's just not worth it if you can have a different option. And I wish that society as a whole was educated on how a woman's body actually works. And I wish sex ed was more about that instead of sexual preference and option. So, goingoffthepill.org, I hope that I could help someone. And again, it's not for everyone. Alternative contraceptive methods are not for everyone, but I think everyone deserves the information to make that decision for themselves.